Greetings to all, and welcome to Dark Soul Gnosticism once more. As always, I hope you're all doing well wherever you may be around this world. Um, I wanted to touch upon the topic that a lot of you have been asking lately, in regards to the black flame, trying to understand the black flame. What is exactly the black flame? Simply said, the black flame is a complicated mixture of emotions, a complicated energy source which finds itself within you. Okay? Each and every one possesses it, regardless of who you are. Most of you are not even aware that you have it, but it is there, regardless, nevertheless. It burns differently within everyone. Yet again, each and every one of you is more than able to activate it, is more than able to rise it. Okay? There is this disbelief amongst new operators, thinking that only certain individuals have this ability. That's not true. Each and every one of you have this ability, just as each and every one of you possess chakras. This mechanism is implanted within you from birth, from creation, okay? You enter this world with the black flame within you, as much as you enter this world with the white flame within you. Both aspects coexist within you at the same time, just as the two trees of the universe do, the black tree of death and the golden tree of life. So you've been asking a lot, why is it hard to actually deal with the side effects or raise the black flame, and why you get certain side effects of it. First of all, the nature of the black flame is not always a pleasant experience. What do we mean by mixture of emotions, or what exactly it is that the black flame is? A mixture of emotions could be compared to everything which relates within you that is a source of an energy rush, which more or less tends to be dark and negative. Compare it to the energy rush that you get when you are outraged, right? What happens? You burst into this energy, and this energy rush just bursts out of you. It starts to pile up before you're outraged, and then it explodes outwards. And of course, what happens is when it is all over, you do feel pretty drained, exhausted. Okay? The same way which we can compare it to a severely lustful encounter, which is rare or you've never had before, where it's such a good physical match, where both parties engaged heavily physically to the beginning, to the point where it turns heavily athletic, so to speak. There's a lot of sweat. It feels like you're going on a big run, like you've been running for a good while, when you're just utterly focused and you're going and going and going until you reach the finish line. This is the black flame raising through these practices. Okay? Imagine being in a fight. You are heavily focused upon the fight. It's been round after round after round. But you have managed to focus so well that you stop feeling the fatigue and the pain caused by this fight. And you just continue and go and go, and you get that rush when the moment comes, and you just dig into the energy, and you start hurting your opponent, fully focused, unable to hear the crowd. Nothing else exists but the focus which you are performing at that moment. This is the black flame. Now, what occurs when we perform a dark meditation? Okay, a black flame meditation. What occurs to the chakras? Your chakras are energy points implanted within you, which serve certain functions for the sake of your own balance as a soul. When we take them away, we disturb the balance. So heavily and tremendous shifts occur in that moment. Chakra removal is for the very few, it's not for everyone. So if it is not a part of your path, you should not do it. Do not merely try to experiment with things or initiate certain operations just for the sake of experimenting, because more than likely there's no coming back from this. It's very difficult. So, what happens is in the operation of dark meditation of the chakras, we invert the energies of the chakra. If it is spinning on the right, which normally it is, we continue to spin it to the left, and the color of the chakra shall change, and it shall turn black, and all chakras eventually shall turn into a black portal. All but the root. The root, even if inverted, remains red, for it is primal and cannot be altered. The root chakra shall always remain red. And what also happens is when we invert them, we connect them starting from top to bottom, bottom to top once again, to alter the polarity. Okay, it's literally like changing your inner and outer magnetism with black flame meditations. Okay, using this meditation, which I'm just literally giving you right now, is a great way of inverting the chakras and activating them into the dark energies. See them spin to the left and turning black and opening wider as they are all round. There are many more chakras, many hundreds of them. But we are now, for the sake of this educational content, speaking only of the 7 main ones, the biggest ones. And then you shall also see them connecting with a black thread, going all the way down to the root, which shall remain red. Do not forget that. You may do the exact same thing after you've connected them with your being, seeing it from within, flooding with a black color until you're nothing but a black outline, which shall have a white aura around it, shining. And then you can make that darkness expand out of your being from within to go around the chakra, around the aura surrounding you, making that white part also dark. And then performing this often will make the results permanent, turning you into a living black light. And this is what you shall be, roaming this world as a dark light. Now, there are side effects, of course, which they either shall intensify in time, or they shall be intense from the early stages of the transformation. And then later, down the line they either subside or they remain intense. Once we manage to raise the black flame, energies will start coming out of us and they will be visible as a colorless energy. Energy with no color all around the person. You'll be able to see it coming out of your hands, you'll be able to see it coming out of your body. The best way to check it would be by not focusing on any specific point. Just go against the white wall. Just look down towards around that area right here. Okay? Of yourself. Just a little bit over your shoulder. Here. Okay? And look there. And while you are looking, you shall see the energies rising here. It's easier to spot if you had a white wall behind you. It's much easier to see colors like that of energies. You can practice this with a friend, or you can just simply tell them to stand against the white wall and not move or speak. And you may focus right here upon that part of the crown chakra and see if you can see a color. That is how you start recognizing auras, energy colors. This is a fun, easy, and great way to start practicing with these energies. What happens to a lot is that you may start losing your train of thought, losing track of thoughts, of images, of the visualization as the explosion of this energy occurs. And it will be draining at first because you are inverting your polarity, which you are not used to. And such a transformation, of course, is painful. Just like every operation is painful. The gifts of beauty and healing through an operation do not come effortlessly. They are painful and the healing process is long. So, it's the exact same thing. It's not gonna happen in a day. And it's not gonna be carefree. Things are always painful in this side of the tree, unfortunately. That's one big thing you should know. Nothing will come to you the nice way. You will never really get to enjoy what you gain. It shall come through tremendous turmoil first. And there's usually a little catch in the end too, unfortunately. Small letters, undetermined sign conditions, as always, as you know. Yada 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 and all that. What occurs to a lot as well is that you may find yourself becoming extremely lethargic. Your vision shall become blurry. Your eyes may dry out. And you are more or less likely to lose consciousness. Okay? That happens to the greatest majority. It even happens to me. And I have been performing these meditations for years. Okay? But that's how you know you did it right. When the energy explosion is so great that you lost consciousness, it means that you raised it greatly. And that is not something to fear. It's pretty likely that you will also astral project when this occurs. So you will see things. And you shall travel. Just make sure to come back. But don't be afraid, even if it's your first time. You shall simply project, and it will be a very quickly and violent projection from one world to the other. And whatever is out there is just going to be very shocked to see you, because you're literally going like a flipper in different worlds, like ding, 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 and you're not supposed to be there. A lot of these beings won't have a clue how you even got there, to be honest. It happens. It's completely normal. But you should not merely end up in worlds where you're not supposed to be in. But yet again, due to balance being restored, you're just gonna get kicked out from that world very quickly if you're not supposed to be there. It's really not something to worry about. Um, and it's also very unlikely that something will follow you back as well. At least with this method. So that is basically why you tend to enter such a heavy trance and why you tend to lose consciousness sometimes when this occurs. It's not something to fear. You shouldn't fear this. Just accept it, and as we say, roll with the punches. It's only going to get better. It will strengthen your double. It will strengthen your alchemy. It will strengthen your senses. It will even open the hand chakras by far if you have this ability, which most of you do. Helps direct energy with hands very easily. Another great way to do this would be to try and rub like this, close, very close, but not touching. And focusing between the space here of your hands as you do it. You'll more likely be able to see auras moving, and you shall feel the energies rubbing against each other without touching. I am able to feel it right now as we speak, heavily. And that's how you can make energy balls, which you can throw and you can direct them to do all sorts of casting. If you program them first, you must compel this living energy which you created to do what you wanted to do. You can't just simply throw things out there. Because things may happen which you do not desire, of course. And we don't want that. We need to control our work. We can't just throw merely things around and hope for the best. Aim, program it, plan it. Knowledge is key. Okay? Training and preparation, of course. And like all things, practice makes perfect. Now, when it comes to certain trends, and that's the second part I want to talk about, there is a lot of you that have been coming forth with problems and issues. A heavy majority of you being young, inexperienced. And if you can be honest with yourselves and, it's not, I mean, you cannot lie to the spirits, but just be honest with yourselves and understand that you have been doing nothing more but experimenting and not being willing to understand that you are literally gambling with yourselves. Okay? You shouldn't do that. Do not gamble. Do not experiment with operations which you do not understand or know anything of. If you've just started, chances are you have zero guidance or knowledge of what it is that you're getting into. And you should not allow yourself to be caught by words, mere words. There is this heavy misconception which started in the West that you may simply call up a being or perform an alchemical operation and you shall be fine, or that you may perform any operation which you see and that it is meant for you and that you can do it. No, many things can go wrong. First and foremost, you will probably end up entering a pact without knowing it, without having signed it, and without having written it. Because regardless of what they tell you, and these are misconceptions that are left open to imagination and interpretation for everyone because they're given in a generic way, because some people make money and they don't want to scare you off with the truth. you really do not need to write down a pact, and you do not need to sign it with blood or with anything else in order to make a pact. And giving an offering to a demon at a crossroads or in nature does not merely mean that you are being nice and you are giving this being a treat. Okay? Demon is not a baby. You can't just give it a little treat. And being nice doesn't make any difference either. So, this act alone has put you into the system. You have initiated a process with that being, which is binding by contract and by law of universe. And you do not know the laws of the universe. Ignorance is not an excuse before the eyes of the universe or the creator. You can't just say, I was tricked and I didn't know. The dark beings have the power to legally trick you if they want. Okay? And once you have willingly entered a transaction, that is binding. That is a contract. Okay? It's binding by law. So, just because you went to a loan shark and took some money, it doesn't mean that you don't need to pay back the interest rate or the money simply because you did not sign an official contract. It was merely cash, right? It's not a legal transaction. It doesn't mean anything. It's not a binding contract. It's not a pact. So you can just simply get away with it? Of course not. It's not how it works. Just because it's not a bank doesn't mean that there are no rules. And it doesn't mean that you're not binded by your action of transaction. And every action has a reaction. Understand this. It is no wonder then that your life turns into ruins and you start being attacked by these beings who you thought that they were just going to merely be your friends. The dark beings are not your friends. They do not exist for friendship. They are not human. They do not think or live the life you live. There is no friendship in the spiritual world. None of this exists. Drop the misconceptions and stop experimenting. Because your life, if you're lucky, turns into ruins. If you're unlucky, you may even perish. Something may happen to you in life. It really depends who you have angered and how angered that particular entity is. Okay? This is no joke. As I keep saying, and I will keep saying, this is not safe. And humanity has been afraid of these things for thousands of years since our creation as human species, for a very good reason. Okay? So do not experiment to see what happens. And do not merely perform any operation you see in any grimoire, thinking that it's suitable for everyone. Not everything is suitable for everyone. You can perform a particular initiation, which is not for you at all, end up in the wrong realm, and you shall be attacked by the guardians of that realm. Fun fact, it does not even need to be a Glyphothic realm for that to occur. It may as well be a Sephirothic realm. If you dare stand before the wrong realm and the wrong beings with the wrong soul attributes, which do not correlate to you at all, you shall be attacked. Guys, things are not as simple as you think. There are rules, there are laws, and there are ways and ways of doing things. You cannot merely say it's free for all and anything works. There are no rules. We may simply improvise and execute what we wish with our alchemy. That rule applies only to your own spell casting, which you do by yourself. You may create your own castings, your own spells. Yes, there are no rules there, if you know the basics. Okay? Which color candle for what operation, what to do, what symbolizations of artifacts and objects to use, yada yada yada. It may not be this particular object, it may be a different one. Okay. The eternal dispute of, well, should I use a green candle for abundance and wealth or should I use a gold one? Well, chances are, if you are from the West, you subscribe to a currency which is green, okay? And you are just going to use a green one because that's what helps you focus, because that's what you relate to best. Others may use gold for gold because that color simply helps them resonate with what they are seeking to attract best. Yes, there we can say there's no rule. Use the green one, use the gold one. Won't make a difference, okay? There will be no backlash by using the wrong color of a candle in such a particular operation. It's not something you should worry about. But all the other things are something you should worry about. Okay? And when cases have been damaged so badly with these deals, literally the only solution to save one would be to find someone who is willing to take the pact upon them. And that is very rare, because no one's going to do that for you. Honestly, even those who offer paid services won't merely take anybody's pact upon them just because you pay them. Once again, there are rules, there are complications, many things involved, which the practitioner, of course, is going to take into account and knows. And he already knows if he's going to take that pact off you or not. And not every spirit is willing to make amendments. Not every spirit is willing to make changes. Some spirits literally go by the rule of the final word. The final word means it is what it is, as stated, so shall it remain. And there will be no further changes upon this particular contract. And if you are in one of those cases, there's nothing anyone can do. Angels won't interfere. Chances are God won't interfere. That's not his job to fix your mess. Okay? Angels will tell you to simply sort your stuff out. You entered this willingly. Demons will tell you, you signed. My word upon the contract is final. Your breach, your responsibility. Okay? Do not get into this loophole. You really don't want that in your life, especially not at a young age. And understand the meaning behind words. Working with the spirit means you're in a deal. Giving an offering, crying out to a dark spirit, to a demon, is a deal. Just because you didn't sign it or write it doesn't mean it's less of a deal. If I shake your hand and we make a deal, it doesn't make it less of a deal than if we sign it. Because in the spirit world, your will and your word are everything. Literally. No tricks, no loopholes, and no escaping. And I'm going to leave you with this piece of knowledge and this one of the biggest warning I can give you if you're new. Okay? Don't merely experiment, because you are literally gambling with your lives and with your souls. And that would be all for now. I hope this helped your development, and I hope you took some valuable information from all of this. Rise and conquer. Reveles tenebras tua.